Hi, I'm Frank Besednjak, and thanks for joining me. This program is about success. I make it a business to help people become more successful at what they do, and that is why we are offering this program, to make you more successful at what you do. I love this quote by Yogi Berra that says, if you don't know where you're going, you'll end up someplace else. It kind of says it all right there, doesn't it? I want to start off by discussing the typical problems or failures that we see in small to medium-sized businesses by showing you a list of the major causes of failure in business startups. They are basically incompetence, emotional pricing, fear of not getting the customer, so you wind up giving away the house to get people just to notice you. That's a bad move. Another is spending too much, living beyond your means, buying things you really can't afford. No knowledge of pricing and pricing methods, not following any real guidelines and what the value of your product or service is. The next one is a big one. Every time I see a show on TV that is trying to rescue or fix a bar, restaurant, or whatever business, one of the problems I always brought up is a lack of systems and processes. That goes right along with poor record keeping, no planning, and no goal setting at all. We'll make sure we spend a lot of time on this. A lack of management skills. This causes the business to expand beyond control, letting people pay later, trying to make people happy and getting nothing in return. Some of the ridiculous and stupid advertising I've seen by new and even established companies just blows me away. Who are you marketing to anyway? And why do contractors have pictures of their vans and trucks in your ads? Are you selling vehicles now? Unless you are driving around in a purple wagon, a banana truck, or Wienermobile, a photo of your truck on the ad is pointless and adds no value. Try showing happy people, because that is what you're trying to do, right? Make people happy? Listening to friends and family for business advice. Never a really good idea. Unless these people are incredibly successful in your field, your best bet is to say thank you and do what is right. If you want to listen to someone, listen to me. I know what I'm talking about. We sometimes have too much pride and are unwilling to seek help. Believe me, you and I are not the smartest people in the world. Don't be afraid to ask for help and admit you are stupid at some things. I know about these things. Believe me, I've screwed up a bunch. Sometimes we make bad decisions and invest a lot of time into something that doesn't pay off. We have to admit we screwed up and just walk away. It's good business. Having a clear focus on what is expected is kind of obvious, wouldn't you say? Trying to take a team to victory without knowing what victory is really like never really worked and never really will. Burnout. That's the point when you've reached the limit and wonder what you're doing here. Happens to all of us. It's okay. That's normal. Sometimes a change of scenery or modifying your daily routines will fix that. Try driving a different way to work. Change the way your office looks. Decide to do something constructive. First thing every day, like just making your bed. That'll get you set off on the right tone. I was working for a client a few years ago, and I couldn't believe all the crap he had laying around in his office. So during lunchtime, I stayed around and decided to sort through everything. And I put everything that wasn't obviously important in trash bags and took them to the nearby gas station and threw them in the dumpster. When the business owner returned, he was upset for about 10 minutes. So I let him rant for a bit, get out of his system. After venting, I told him to just be quiet for a few minutes and enjoy the scenery of no chaos, no disorder. After a while of sitting quietly, it finally sunk in. He got it. You should be thrilled about going to work, not dreading it. It's because of the chaos that causes you to dread it. Now that we've discussed all of the things that can possibly go wrong, let's discuss how we can make a business successful. Over the next few months, I'll be offering online programs such as this to cover every aspect of becoming successful in business. During each program, I'll cover one or two subject areas, or should I say, the key components or common sense to business success. I've listed 21 of these. Let me run through them now. Number one, have simple rules, systems, and processes in place that every team member understands. Number two, create a method that allows your team to find answers to their questions or concerns without having to involve you in everything every time. Number three, have a plan to exit your business. Number 4, get the business to run itself. 5, be the best and most fun place to work. Of course, number 6, pay your superstars well. Number 7, empty the trash. What does that mean? You don't need losers corrupting your business. This means it's okay to fire your losers and your customers too. Number 8, have a niche and decide what your typical customer is going to be like. Number 9, don't be afraid to make money and charge appropriately. Number 10, keep improving and getting better. Number 11, listen to your employees and your customers. They will tell you what you're doing right and doing wrong, which leads right into number 12. Don't be a know-it-all. There are plenty of people who know more than you. Seek them out. Listen. Number 13, don't be a lazy ass. You need to constantly work on your business. Number 14, hire smart people who know more than you. And 15, be real. We're all human. It's okay. We screw up. Accept it. Number 16, empower your workforce. You need to let people do their job and allow them an opportunity to screw up. It's okay. It's how people learn. 17, don't try to be everything for everyone. Focus on what you do well. 18, always look for new talent. You never know when a superstar may show up at your front door. Number 19, train and educate your employees well. They need to be at their best at all times. Number 20, always maintain an absolute integrity in everything you do, personally and professionally. And last, and probably most important of all, number 21, listen to people like me. I know what I'm talking about, and I want you to succeed. So today's program will focus on number 1 and number 2. Having simple rules and processes set up and creating methods that allow your people to find answers to their questions and concerns without having to involve you in everything. One of the things that causes business owners to lose control is a lack of systems and processes that are easy to implement and understand. When we have great systems and processes in place, we maximize efficiency, limit errors, improve quality, set up work rules and guidelines that allow employees a plan to follow. And it reduces the amount of training needed if done correctly. One company that implements systems and processes well, McDonald's. Here we have a company that basically sells fairly mediocre food, has mediocre service, yet is incredibly successful. They can take a 16-year-old kid, and within a couple of days of training, this person will be performing at an adequate level and meet the business objectives. No matter what McDonald's you go to, whether it is in Oregon, Florida, Ohio, or Wisconsin, you know exactly what you're going to get. They are consistent, clean, and fairly fast in providing you the exact product and service you want. They do this because they have processes in place that minimize failure. It is well known that in successful businesses, the leaders put systems and processes in place and they manage the processes, not people. It is a matter of showing the people how your processes work and coaching them. There are 5 reasons employees don't perform well, and everything fits into one or more of these 5. Let's go through them. Personal issues. Don't know how. Don't understand the rules and processes. Can't do it and don't care. Setting up systems and processes will fix numbers 2 and 3. So let's discuss how to create these simple processes. First, we will need to process map the specific tasks involved. This will be a step-by-step guide, similar to a flow chart on how to get something done from beginning to end. When you do this, you'll need the input of the people who actually do the job because they know it better than anyone. Also, allow them to set up work rules, guidelines, and penalties for bad behavior or for not following the processes you put in. A business process is kind of like a recipe that you follow. If you do it right, odds are it'll taste great. Here is a simple example of a process map to make breakfast. In a normal workplace without process maps, the boss would tell the employee, here are your products listed on the top left as inputs. Then they tell them what you want to do with this stuff. In this case, make breakfast. and we want this result. Unfortunately, just like in many workplaces, the employees set out to complete the objectives with minimal input on how you want it done, and they simply make it happen the best way they know how. If you look further down the process map, you see samples of instructions on how to prepare ingredients and even great detail on how to cook the eggs. Every job at work should be laid out in this amount of detail. Unfortunately, most employers simply send people out hoping they can perform with minimal information and resources and hope they get the job done right. While I was responsible for training at General Electric Appliances, I made it a point to have information and resources available to every employee at the time when it was most needed. For example, this little booklet was just one of many that a field service technician would have available to them. This one happens to be the book someone would take for them in a home when they were servicing a particular line of refrigerators. As you can see, the booklet was small enough to fit in your back pocket and started by a brief demonstration of safety and common troubleshooting information, like asking the right questions to eventually determine the fault. The booklet even went through great detail on measurements, tests, and troubleshooting charts. Having the information available at the time it was needed created an incredible improvement in productivity, employee satisfaction, and customer service, simply because we had a process and system available to them at the time they needed it most. I'm not saying you have to have a booklet made for every scenario and every employee. However, with the technology available today, just as McDonald's has easy to implement procedures and systems for their team, this could be done fairly easily in your workplace if you just laid out the processes for everybody. Just like the recipe for making breakfast I showed you earlier, and having it available to everyone, think of all the times you had to answer the same questions over and over again. Wouldn't it be great to have that stop? Why don't people have access to their answer without you having to get involved? There are plenty of solutions available by taking the time up front to lay out everyone's tasks and having the answers available in advance. Simple processes like how you answer the phone. What answers do you have for them for common questions? What do you do when there's a weather emergency? What are your employees' work rules? How do we handle complaints? How do we perform safety training and comply with governmental regulations? There are plenty of tools and products available to help you get the information to the employee at a time that is most needed. Having the ability to simply follow a few steps, understand the objectives, will make all the difference in how an employee in business performs. I've managed hundreds of people in my career, and my success has always been based on putting together a strategy and developing the processes to make it happen. These are really the keys to success. Please let me help you get there.